Good evening, everybody. My name is Sheila Patel. I'm the director of SPARC in India and also the chair of Shack Dwellers International, which is a transnational organization that supports and assists national federations to present their voice at global conferences and development processes. I really apologize for not being there myself at this conference. It's a very good example of what happens when a global incident produces local consequences. A combination of the volcanic ash that completely messed up everybody's travel plans last year and cascaded into changing what we were doing in this month, along with strikes of airlines and other such things, have made it impossible for me to arrive in time to make my presentation. So I have asked my colleague, Beth, to come, and I'm sure that her discussions with you will be very, very useful and interesting for this conference. On my part, what I'd like to bring to this event is a plea on behalf of professionals that work with slum communities to invite professionals from the north in general to start looking at cities and the urban poor as people they have to develop relationships with whom they have to negotiate solutions with and with whom they have to develop new partnerships in order to address all the transformations, planned and unplanned, that all of us are going to face in the global south in the next 20 to 30 years. We have a huge deficit to make up. All of us have been responsible for ignoring the reality of urban poverty. We have chosen to keep the issue of people's habitat as something that is invisible in policy, and increasingly northern development investment has been in a general state of denial about the need to make these investments. So we not only have a huge catch-up phase to deal with more than 1 billion slum dwellers expected to presently be there, but to deal with both cities and countries that are going to face huge in-migration into cities with very little capacity, resources, and political will to produce adjustments that can accommodate this large inflow. For those of you who are from the Netherlands, I wish that you can get your government to reformulate its strategies to address urbanization. Those of us who have worked for the last 2 or 3 decades have had huge support from Dutch development assistance to initiate our work in cities, and now we find that suddenly it's not a priority. And so countries that had made huge investments, produced networks, produced partnerships in the past, are now completely in denial of the need to do this. So while you will have ex-ministers from Holland who work in the United Nations, working on MDGs, working on issues of urbanization, none of them are bringing these insights back to your own country. To those of you who are from other countries or from professions that have to do with planning, consulting on the issues of cities, there is a big challenge for you. Today, everything in cities and slums is increasingly being seen with fear, gloom, and doom. And I'm very happy to see that in the conference literature, there is some optimism and hope. And I think those of us who work with slum communities know that if given an opportunity, people can actually see ways by which their survival strategies can be augmented and be transformative to produce scalable solutions to cities. But we need the eyes and the ears to look into those unformulated, nascent solutions and bring them into the mainstream. That's our job as intermediating professionals. Most of us end up working for institutions that don't have that perspective, and we get locked into an unending cycle of moaning and groaning about the growth of slums and the inability to address them. So my suggestion for this conference would be, begin to look at emerging processes, things that are happening in the global south, of which I believe the Shack Dwellers International is one such process, when large numbers of poor people are getting organized. They are creating mechanisms and systems to begin to understand how to articulate their reality to the outside world. They're learning how to negotiate with governments and municipalities, and they are transforming their roles and relationships vis-a-vis development. So what role can all of you play in that? Everybody is very clear that a crisis can be transformed into a solution or an opportunity if we have the mindset to do that. So let's all explore that mindset. Let's look at ways by which we support each other to explore these new solutions and to treat the challenges that we are going to face in the next 2-3 decades as something that we do fearlessly and with optimism and with a belief that we will get support from each other to explore these things. Thank you.